thing happened recently. More funny, whoa, than funny. For those of you who don't know who Phyllis Schlafly is, or I should say was, because she died in September 2016, she was arguably one of the most influential conservative political organizers in American history. But old Pete Schlafs and I would agree on very little. Newsflash, one reason women get married is to be supported by their husband while taking care of the children at home. So long as the husband earns a good income, she doesn't care about the pay gap between them. Yes, she was extremely smart and savvy and scrappy and doggedly persistent in getting her views across. She wasn't too keen on, well, feminism, for starters. Feminism is incompatible with human nature, and that our law should make up for his mistake. She made her name in the 1970s by leading the effort to stop the ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment. And if you're like, what's the Equal Rights Amendment? You probably haven't heard of it because she was successful. I simply didn't believe we needed a constitutional amendment to protect women's rights. Schlafly and her moral majority followers were also not fans of things like, sex ed. Sex education classes are like in-home sales parties for abortion. LGBTQ rights. ERA means funding abortions, means homosexual privileges. Oh, and did I mention, she really hated feminism. Men should stop treating feminists as ladies and treat them like the man they say they want to be. And while a lot of her comments might seem downright shocking, the atomic bomb is a marvelous gift given to our country by a wise God. You can't be an American if you don't speak English. Non-criminal sexual harassment on the job is not a problem for the virtuous woman, except in the rarest of cases. She had masses of supporters, which I recently learned, here comes the funny, not part of the story. I mentioned Phyllis Schlafly to my mother and she said, stop, do not talk ill of her. My mother explained to me that when she came to the crossroads that so many women come to, whether she was going to continue in her academic career to pursue obtaining a PhD and a full professorship because she was already instructing at a college at the time, versus staying at home to take care of her children, she opted for home. P.S. Thank you, Mom, for caring and for being an amazing mom and for making sacrifices, and I wish that you didn't even have to make that choice. Back to the story. Phyllis Schlafly was a role model and a comfort for her because Phyllis Schlafly's whole thing has been promoting the value of mothers who opt to stay home and raise their children before opting to cultivate their career. Women can avoid sexual harassment and domestic violence by focusing on marriage instead of career. For my mom, she didn't identify with the feminist movement. She didn't have other women in her life who she could grapple with the situation and get advice from, get help from. Phyllis was the one in front of her. On Stuff Mom Never Told You, and even in my personal social media, I do try to exercise empathy and check my privilege. This was just a reminder of why that is important to do, not only for issues that are near and dear to me, but also it's important to do for puzzling out why people disagree with me and the life events and circumstances that led them to that choice. And it can be hard to remember that, especially when you are in the middle of a garbage fire presidential election. While that doesn't justify what someone supports or what they say, by getting married, a woman has consented to sex, and I don't see how you can call that rape. If we understand better why people make the choices, especially ones that we disagree with, then perhaps we can look back and see where to focus our work, because long-term change for the better means getting at the root problem. So I guess what I'm saying is, not thanks Phyllis Schlafly, but to my mom for making hard choices with me in mind.